In 3 days, I'm gonna be 24. I don't know why I feel like just telling you this, but I just feel like doing so. I just don't want to get old. I don't want to get old. Make my suffering stop, please. I just want to do something cool in my 20s before the time has passed. Jeez. But anyway, well, I think it's fair to say that Skirk is, gonna be looking really nice next patch. And let's just keep it very much say, yes, Skirk is most likely gonna be the next patch person. And the reason I say most likely is just to avoid any other weirdness that might come my way in case Hoya decides to get handsy. But let's just be real. That's gonna be what happened next patch, and I wouldn't even say that if it wasn't for the fact I keep seeing Skirk leaks all over the damn place, or is about to run into them to its full completion. I don't want to see anything of the character until it's really officially revealed to show so, right? Like, that's really how it is. The only thing I wanted to see was obviously who was coming up next, and when I found out who came out next and saw the splash art, and that was basically it. I didn't want to see anything else. I didn't want to talk about what they're gonna have or anything like that because I don't want to see it. I keep getting hit with stuff. It's annoying. I wish it would stop, right? But that's just how it is. Granted, again, don't know why, they haven't dropped Skirk's whole ass strip marketing. Maybe it's because Skirk is a big ass character, and which is understandable because let's just keep very much a sec. She is related to, first of all, Child and yeeting him through the damn black hole. Then you also have Rhinedottir Gold, which essentially is a crazy ass bitch that's really OP, we'll talk about in this video. And essentially there's a lot of lore stuff that is connected to Skirk when it comes down to it, to a heavy ass degree. And to be absolutely real, the fact that Skirk is actually going to be playable soon, and the fact that they're actually going to allow her to be in the player's hands, you know damn well what she says in the upcoming patches or whatever is gonna be pretty damn sizable, pretty damn important. So I'd be honestly kind of surprised if Skirk just kind of comes out with no fanfare whatsoever, if I'm gonna be honest, because she's the person that told us about how the Gnosis is all kind of weird ass, destructive ass things, and we should probably not worry about getting all of them and, getting rid of them in some shape and form, Also kind of has like ties, hella big ties with Rhinedottir, which Rhinedottir is also on a tons of different types of energy when it comes down to it, So again, Skirk is a pretty big effing deal of a character. Hell, I feel like if they want to cook Skirk up right and make her actually like, an important beast of a character, I would deadass say they need to do something like what they did with, Arlecchino with her whole ass like, orphanage animation and stuff like that, and how she became, fodder and things like that. I feel like Skirk needs the same thing, because outside of what Child said to us, we don't know shit about that character. We don't know anything about her whatsoever, right? Outside the fact that, she's related, or at least has relevance to other people that we have known or heard about throughout the entire journey. Hell, none of the other Hexen circles have ever really said anything about her, which, granted, I guess, they kind of just tend to their own business and do what they want to do, so I guess that's just how it is. But still, nobody really has said anything about her, if at all, besides Child before we even got to see her. Look, my point is that whatever happens next patch, which should be the Dainslet patch and all that stuff, whatever happens next patch should be absolutely one of the most exciting things that we could possibly have, because of, again, the character in question knows a lot more than we really do, right? And in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if next patch ends up being a real deal game changer in terms of what the hell might happen. In fact, just to kind of throw out even more of excitement for next patch, before we even know what the hell's going on, I wouldn't be surprised if this next patch is the reason where, Mawika might lose her Pyronosis and it gets in the hands of Fatui and stuff like that, and they have all the pieces together. Because again, we still have to get to that point. We still have to get to a point where she loses that Gnosis and all that sort of stuff, and try to figure that whole thing out, so that there is still that whole ass hurdle to get to. And what better time for Skirk to kind of come through with all the notices in play into one place than right now? That sounds like a perfect ass time if you ask me. And to really add more to this, if Dainsliff really is coming through in next patch, if that is going to be the case in the plan, and Skirk coming through, I feel like both of them will come to blows to some sort of extent. I would feel like that would be the case, and the reason for that is obviously, really, if you've just been paying attention, you know, Dainsliff hates the hell out of the 5 Sinners of Khaenri'ah. Rhinedottir is one of those people, and so you really think, you know, Skirk is just gonna sit there and not do anything? Maybe to, I guess, like, protect Rhinedottir in some shape and form, or even go as far as to, you know, do something with that. Something will happen. Something will happen there, right? And really, now that we know that Rhinedottir is also, like, you know, ate the whole heart of Neverus and became the ruler of life, or at least merged with it, I don't think Dainsliff has what he needs to take down Rhinedottir at this moment, if we're gonna be honest, right? I wouldn't be too surprised if he just get his ass washed the moment he stepped foot to Rhinedottir, if that's gonna be the case. But then at the very same time, weirder shit could happen, you know? Like, I wouldn't be surprised at this point if someone else took another Shade's power and decided to do some other weird shit with it. Like, what if the ruler of death power, like Renova or something like that, just happened to go to Dane, or Capitano wakes his ass up for whatever reason, just like, oh, hold up, I got a mission to do, and just started whooping ass and just took out Rhinedottir and all that sort of stuff, right? Because there, and that's kind of like the thing right now. Genshin is in a place, a weird ass place, where multiple things can be true and multiple things could just absolutely happen, and I wouldn't even get mad at the results, because something fresh is about to happen. Something new is about to come through that I'm not necessarily sure of how they're going to go about certain things, you know? Right? And that's kind of like the one thing too about Genshin storytelling that I always hated. It's the damn predictability of it, right? And this is also the reason why I do not watch, like, theory crafters and, you know, lore experts to a high end extent, because I don't want to, you know, watch their video. Essentially, they guess it right, and then, you know, it ends up being true in some shape and form. And I really hate that, because, like I said before, that's what ruined Fontaine for me, outside the fact that I played Masters of Detective Archives Raincoat, and they had basically the same damn plot. But at the very same time, that's the reason why I don't really watch lore crafters. I just don't. You know, and when it comes down to it, if they were to guess something right when it comes down to what's coming up next, I'd be disappointed. I'd be pretty damn upset. So I'm hoping that Hoyoverse and just the Genshin team entirely would start using a bit of really originality, so they can kind of throw people off the trail so they can't guess what's going on. Because I feel like if you got a story that you can't really guess all the way through of what's gonna happen, that's a 10 times way better story to tell than a story that's predictable and all that sort of stuff. That's why specifically I'm hyped up for Not Cry hard as hell, mainly to do with the fact that it's a place of originality. Outside of, yes, you're gonna have some, you know, stuff that's related to reality, like the Baltic Sea, that they said that Nacra is somewhat based off of, but it's going to be an original looking place, an original place to a fair extent of it. That sounds exciting, you know? Like, you can rely on Disney Worlds and Kingdom Hearts all day, but what really matters to progress the true story is the original worlds. Twilight Town, the world that never was one of the greatest worlds of all time. You got the Keyblade Graveyard, things like that. Like, original worlds and original ideas hit way harder than taking inspiration from a thing, because you know what that inspiration could lead into. It's not really that hidden of an idea to figure out, oh, X thing and X thing go here and here, maybe in a different way, but it does. And that's just kind of the whole thing. So I'm looking forward to very much that originality when it comes down to it. And who knows, Skirk might dead ass be the person to help out with something like that. And hell, when she eventually gets in the game, she could be the one to tell us that, hey, Teyvat is kind of weird. Like, have you seen what the real sky looks like? Did you know that it's upside down, if that theory is true? You know, there's plenty of things Skirk could deadass say. Obviously, they're not going to reveal the whole game, but they're gonna reveal probably a lot of shit in the next patch that we probably wasn't ready to hear, and some new shit that we probably haven't heard before, you know? So there's very much a lot of things to this character that's gonna be extra cool. And obviously I feel like when it comes down to how much freedom Skirk is gonna have, I think she'll have a fair amount of it, considering that she lets, you know, Durin kind of do what it wanted to do when, you know, it was alive, and then also at the same time you had like Albedo kind of just chilling out with everybody else in society and stuff. I don't really see her having a whole ass tight grip on really anything that she has ties with at all, especially now, and especially with the previous Archon quest that we had, where Albedo basically said that, yo, if we're gonna be honest, because Rhinedottir is now with the ruler of life, I merged with it, you know, she kind of chilling. She kind of at peace. She found her peace now, you know? And that's just also like a whole nother thing too. So it might not necessarily be nearly as, you know, of a strict leash that Skirk has to play on, and kind of could just do what she wants to do. Hell, to be honest, we don't even know where the hell Skirk came from. We don't even know what, if she's from Tibet or she's from a different world entirely. We don't even know where she came from, why she was in the primordial like sea the entire damn time. When we first met her, we don't know. It's a bit weird. Again, she's a weird ass character. She has weird ass stuff. If anything, she probably is the most OP person on Tibet, if we're going to be honest. Probably could beat the Narcon, if we're going to be real. But when it comes down to it, it's just a lot of stuff that we just don't know. But again, that's the fascinating part. But now, as we talk about that, let me shift gears to Rhinedottir, or Gold, or maybe more so the Heavenly Principles, if I'm going to be honest. Because these bitches are still asleep. How the hell are the Heavenly Principles still asleep to this very day? Like, this don't make any kind of sense if I'm being honest, right? Let's go over the facts of what happened, right? I get it. You got your ass beat hard when it came down to what happened 500 years ago or whatever, so you needed to rest up, you know? But that's a one long ass time to be sleeping. 500 years. You ain't Lord Beerus. You ain't Beerus from DBZ or DBS now. That's not how this works. So that's strike number one. Strike number two, you basically had, like, you know, all these other nations kind of doing what they want to do, and then essentially you don't pay attention to anything. Like, for example, the whole damn thing with Rhinedottir, literally anything attached to Rhinedottir when it comes down to it. Creating Albedo, and, you know, going as far as to have Durin kind of exist. Albedo kind of doing the whole Durin transmutation of the human body, so we actually have a, you know, current day mini Durin turned to human piece of shit thing that we still haven't seen, that people are also fawning over hella hard. But oh, you want to talk shit about fan service, you bitch ass fans. But when it comes down to it though, you have that. You basically punished Egeria for creating life, but you have Albedo kind of doing the same exact thing. Rhinedottir doing that shit too. Being literally part of your freaking Shade Squad. Your Shady Squad. Your Shady Men. Like, you're a part, she's a part of that now. Like, you're not gonna wake up for that? A divine throne was literally crushed in Fontaine, and still you don't do anything about that? Giving back to the Dragon Sovereign? That still hasn't waken you up? Capitano literally shitted on one of your shades, literally the shade of death, and she couldn't do shit about that? Like, again, there is many factors, possibly stuff I'm missing, but many factors where the Heavenly Principles, you would thought, woke the hell up. Smell the air, going outside, touch grass, touch some golden heavenly grass or something like that. Smell the roses, realize this shit is real, and be like, hold up, what the hell happens with these crackheads on Tibet? And literally start raining down divine judgment of some kind, right? I would imagine they would have done something like that, and yet they haven't, right? They literally haven't, and I've been hella confused as to how and why they've been asleep for so long. The Shades are obviously aware of what the hell is going on. The Shades still watch Tibet every now and again, it seems like. People have eyes on the damn planet, but it's like the Heavenly Principles itself, the primordial one itself, It's like, nope, just gone. Just absolutely sleep. What the hell are you sleeping for, sir? There ain't no damn way you should be sleeping this damn hard for this damn long. I'm just gonna be honest. If someone effing up your shit, walking around, acting like they own the place, I'm pretty certain I'd wake up and be like, hey yo, what the hell is all this? You know? Even if it's the slightest breeze, you would feel that shit. It's like when you go to sleep and then somebody basically walks in your room that you don't recognize. You're gonna wake up to that shit. I don't care how heavy of a sleeper you are. If you don't feel comfortable, you don't feel comfortable, you're gonna wake the hell up and you're gonna figure out some shit. Now I'm sitting here thinking about it, there's a lot of things where you would have thought somebody from the Heavenly Principles place, somebody up there, the sustainer of the Heavenly Principles will, or somebody would come through, jump into Sabat in some shape and form, and just start putting people in line, putting people in place. But they haven't done that. And granted, I guess that's also like the whole God thing, where it could be just the fact that, you know, let humans figure things out themselves and, you know, not step in and do stuff like that. Because obviously it's very clear that there is definitely infighting between the people that work with the Heavenly Principles, obviously, and don't really care too much about what they really want, or at least that's the feeling I get from a lot of it, because it just feels a bit like a mixed match of different things that's going on between the feelings of people that work there and people that don't work there, and that's just how it is, right? And maybe that's just, I don't know. This whole situation just really weird. This whole situation is just the weirdest it possibly can be. And again, especially with Rhinedottir now being literally fused with the ruler of life, it's still like, you would think you would woke up. Now I did see somebody comment, or at least somebody did say that, well, because Rhinedottir is fused with the ruler of life, maybe when it comes down to it, they don't have to wake up, because did the replacement, you know, Rhinedottir came in and ate it, sure, but was that destroyed? Was the ruler of life destroyed in any shape or form? Was it, you know, I guess altered up to a point where it's something that would take away the position of the ruler of life and what it's supposed to do? And to a point, technically no, but at the very same time, if I had someone that was by my side that I needed and that I used a lot, and essentially that person ain't there, or they got replaced in some shape and form, I would notice that shit and said something about that, you know? So I don't think it's that. Plus, again, there's too many things that has happened that literally would be impossible for the Heavenly Principle to ignore. Again, the Divine Chair, Malwika punching the damn moon, or at least the sky to reveal the fake sky. There's too much stuff. Way too much stuff, and stuff that we probably don't even know yet, and stuff that we have just a ton of evidence for good reason for the Heavenly Principles to wake the hell up. But whatever reason, man is still asleep. Man is still clocked the hell out. He just KO'd right now. Man got knocked out in the fighting game and has not woke up ever since that damn just ass beating he got all them years ago. It is what it is. So ultimately, again, there's a lot that they can lean into, the directions they can go into, which I would more so like it if they start going into the more, you know, Heavenly Principles stuff now, or at least what's absolutely up there in Celestia's field. And that's kind of like the thing too, because the main two parties that we have to deal with, at least that feels like a hard focus right now, is Celestia, and then you obviously got, you know, Conria, which are the main two places I would say, or people or groups or whatever, that feels hella big important right now. I know, yes, we have Hexen Circle, and I know we got things of the sort that is pretty important, like the Fatui and the Shnesh, Nayans, and all that type of stuff that comes through it. But at the very same time, I do feel like right now, hell, I'd even argue that the Abyss Order, or the Abyss just in general, don't, I'll say they feel important, but they don't feel nearly as big as to what we need to know here and here, instead of like Celestia and Conria, because obviously the Abyss is just here to F your life up. That's what that is. And who knows what the Abyss Order is trying to... Well, we know what the Abyss Order is trying to do, but like how far they're going to go with that shit, with the whole, you know, fate-weaving machine of the ley lines and stuff like that. That's a whole different thing I haven't thought about since Carver Bear. So there's been a lot of plot lines. So yeah, this is exactly the reason why Nah Cry exists, for them to come through and just kind of piece everything together, because there's three major things that's going on with three major, you know, groups of people, and they kind of need to figure out where the hell all this ties up and where this ends up, you know, because that's like the major damn thing when it comes down to, you know, Genshin's story, which I believe they have an idea where they want to go. It's just how the hell do you get there, which is a fair, as a person that writes a lot of story stuff, that's a fair assessment to have. Where the hell do you go and how do you get to the end, right? Because that's just a huge thing. But overall, I guess I wanted to just talk and yap about, I guess, my hype levels for Skirk, and definitely wanting to get her a lot. If I get C1 Skirk, that'd be amazing. But that's kind of where my hype levels is for things right now. Also kind of want to talk about Rhinedottir. I was going to originally talk about the whole Archon quest a little bit, which, you know, there's not really much I can say because everybody has already set their piece on it. But and really the only thing I would definitely say is just the fact on that quest is just that, yo, I really kind of thought was going to have an evil Durin fight. Not gonna lie, like, I thought he was going to get revived fully and we'll have to box his ass in some shape or form, which that would have been cool. But we don't really get that, and I'm kind of a little disappointed, but not that disappointed. As long as Mini Durin comes playable, that's perfectly fine. But, you know, it is what it is. Also, they got a little information wrong or weirded out, or maybe things just change over time with how they kind of stated that, you know, the older version of Durin is kind of evil, whatever, which he never really was. He kind of just wanted to chill with everybody and all that type of stuff, but his actions of what he thought he was doing was actually pretty bad, and they had to put him down. But even though he wasn't actually pissed off at anybody and all that sort of stuff, but in years of time kind of passed by and kind of messed up with Durin's mind and kind of the reason why he is the way he is now, you know. So there is things to kind of, you know, yap about, I suppose, but it's not really anything overly crazy when it comes down to it. Mainly my goal was to kind of yap about Skirk, yap about Rhinedottir, and a bit of the health of principles, because there is just so many fun plot points that they can pull at right now and that they can absolutely do. And again, for next patch, a lot of exciting shit can happen because of like who's going to be involved or what's going to potentially happen and things like that, where the story is trying to line itself up to and what they're trying to go for, because it feels like we're starting to get answers to questions that we've been waiting on for years at this point, you know. So it's nice to see all this kind of coming to a conclusive point, or starting to near its conclusive point when it comes down to it, because it's been a long time coming. My only hope, and I said this before, is just mainly I really hope they have a lot of original ideas that they can lean into and go hard into. So, you know, the game isn't necessarily just something you guess that would happen and all that sort of stuff. I hope they have plot points and plot twists that aren't necessarily just there for the sake of it being there, but actually being there because they can tell a good story with it, right? Because, you know, it's just something I very much don't want to see get guessed outright by a lot of the, you know, theory crafters and such like that. I would rather them just be straight up wrong and just have things go out in a different way than what we ever really seen before. That, I would say that's the main thing too as well, because again, I don't want to see predictability like a lot when it comes to the original ideas. You shouldn't be able to predict those things. Just let the things kind of happen, take the guesses and, you know, kind of shove it somewhere. And that's just kind of hopefully, you know, what I'm hoping for. Because again, just to kind of reiterate the old points, KH they don't have a way to kind of predict what the hell will happen. You can take a guess, but it might not be right. So that's just gonna be how it is. So that's, I guess, all I really wanted to say for this one. So hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification on the way out. Also follow my socials, and if you'd like to donate to the channel, Kofi is available as well. Also, like to briefly mention, birthday is like in 3 days. I hate it here. I don't want to get old. I haven't done anything in my 20s yet, but it is what it is, I suppose. But until then, it's me, Boy J, signing off. Have a blessed day.